Hi and welcome back to LDF-Designs. I've been away for a couple of weeks as we focused as our family on my son's marriage. He had a wedding over the weekend and it was just wonderful. But I am back today and showing you just a short video about how I prepare some of my panels for the collage elements that I use. I learned about this mixture from another artist, Crystal Marie from Canary Rising, and I don't want to give away all of her secrets, but she has a mixture of products that she uses and teaches about, and so that's what I'm using here. I also have a variety of different things I can use to color this mixture, and in this case I have some that's a little bit green, and I'll be also using some white. So a big part of this process is adding on the layers and then letting it dry. So I don't show you all of the drying time. Obviously it's kind of boring sometimes to watch paint dry. So this is going to be a short video. But basically in this at this point I am just putting a base coat down. I'm going to add some collage papers onto these panels, and then I will continue on adding my rusty pieces. I did do all of the edges as you see. It can be a little bit tricky, so I try to work two edges and one side at a time, and then once that dries I'll flip it over and do the other side and the two remaining edges. You may have noticed on these ones I'm using a foam, one of those foam brushes, the cheap ones that you can get just about anywhere. I also was using a silicone spatula that I picked up at the dollar store. So you can use a paintbrush, you can use your hands if you'd like to apply this mixture on. It kind of is like a stucco mixture, and I do use it in a lot of my work now. Once I learned about it, I just love the texture that I can create with it. And also it's a great mixture for, again, securing metal pieces or other types of things to your panels. At this point I had already pulled out several different types of papers that I wanted to collage onto these. Because I am planning for them to be ornaments, I do have some Bible pages, I have some hymnal pages, I think I have maybe a dictionary, like a scripture dictionary that I had from a long time ago that we just don't use anymore. You can pick a lot of these kinds of things up at your local flea markets, and they just are really great for giving you different tones of paper, but also it then gives you the music notes or the writing and that kind of stuff that you may want to add to your pieces. Because the mixture is wet on the panel, I'm just pushing these small pieces down onto them, working to make sure that they don't have any air under them. If there are small pockets of air, you can go back with a needle or something and pop the paper or poke a little hole in it to help release that air. And then what I like to do is take the brush or whatever I'm using and apply just a little bit over the top to make it look like it's just blended into the background. I also had these small wooden balls that have a hole in them, so they're kind of like beads, and I wanted to play around and see what kind of textures I could get maybe on those. So I went ahead and added a little bit of the mixture onto these as well, and then set them aside to dry. So at this point, these are fairly dry, and what I'm doing now is going ahead and adding a little bit of mixture onto the panel and also onto the metal, and then adhering those two things together. I once heard somebody say that as much as you can, their statement was kind of, you always want to put glue to glue because the glue will want to stick to itself. So I kind of use that same premise when it comes to this mixture that I use, this stucco mixture. I try as much as I can to make sure I'm sticking the stucco to stucco. So again, putting a little bit onto the board, putting a little bit onto the metal, and then just giving those a little bit of pressure to make sure that they're adhering, and then I set them aside to dry. It is a little bit interesting with the metal because it's not super porous, so you do kind of want to set it down in there and make sure that it is adhering well. Not everything sticks. So once I placed these four pieces on there, then I went ahead and picked another panel. I have this, actually I'm not 100% sure what it is. It's a fixture from a cabinet, I believe, and it's kind of hollowed out in the back, and I really wasn't sure if this would work, but what I ended up doing, as you'll see here, is I placed a bunch of the mixture down onto the panel, and then I filled the back of this also, and then put those two things together. At that point, I'm just going to let these panels dry and finish them out later with some encaustic. But that is how I am putting these things onto my panels for those of you who have been interested. Thank you for watching today, and I hope to see you back soon.